Coming up, a big Major League debut and more from the big NL matchup in New York. This is Locked On Game to Game.
The biggest games, the best performances, expert analysis. You are Locked On Now.
What's going on, everybody? You are listening to Locked On Game to Game MLB. Local experts taking you from game to game for all of the updates in last night's MLB action, getting you completely up to date on everything you need to know. I'm your host, Daniella Bruce, and thank you for making Locked On your first listen every weekday. We've got our Locked On Major League Baseball host here to break down all of the day's action. The Mets and Dodgers met for another matchup of the NL Powers in yesterday's biggest game.
The biggest game.
The two best teams in the National League continued their series with a pitcher's duel on Wednesday, and Jacob deGrom isn't going to lose many of those. Locked On Dodgers and Mets tell you how New York managed to get a one-run win out of LA.
Well, if you're a fan of speedy pitchers duels, you probably like this game. If you're a fan of the Dodgers winning, maybe not so much. What's up? It's Jeff from Locked On Dodgers. The Dodgers lost to the Mets 2-1. The only run coming on a Mookie Betts home run. Sound familiar? Same storyline as when they lost to Sandy Alcantara over the weekend, losing 2-1. The one run on a solo home run by Mookie Betts. The Dodgers came close to tying this one up. Justin Turner hit a ball 410 feet to just to the right of dead center. If he hit it 411 feet, it would have been a tie game, but he hit it just far enough that Brandon Nimmo could jump up and rob him of a game-tying home run. Jacob deGrom was outstanding, of course, like everybody knew he would be. Tyler Anderson matched him pitch for pitch, the difference was there was a runner on when Tyler Anderson gave up his home run. There wasn't when deGrom gave up his. That was the difference of the game, and the Dodgers lose. They've split the first two games of the series and the first 6 games of the season series with the Mets, so they will go on Thursday afternoon trying to win the series. So check out Locked On Dodgers first thing in the morning for everything you need to know about this game and all things Dodgers.
The New York Mets beat the mighty Los Angeles Dodgers on Wednesday night as Jacob deGrom played stopper and Brandon Nimmo made one of the best catches you will ever see. This is Ryan Finkelstein, the host of Locked On Mets, and really, that just summed up the ball game. Well pitched. deGrom goes 7 strong. Only run he allowed is a homer to Mookie Betts, but Starling Marte's home run counted double on the other side as Tyler Anderson was good, but that extra run ended up being all the difference in this one. Really good pitching out of the bullpens, but where this game really was boiled down to in a single play is Brandon Nimmo going back and robbing a home run. Absolutely perfectly timed leap to bring that ball back in, and that ended up being the difference in the ball game as the Mets squeaked out a 2-1 victory to even up this series and to set up a rubber match game on Thursday afternoon. On the show tomorrow, I'll be talking about this game. I'll be doing a little bit of revisiting history as the last time Jacob deGrom pitched against the Dodgers was 3 years ago, and things looked a lot different for this Mets team. We'll also go through some injury notes as Brett Baty appears to be out for the season with a thumb injury.
The Houston Astros did enough on offense to beat the Rangers with the help of a big night from Jose Altuve in Texas. Our Locked On Astros host breaks down Houston's victory on the road.
Hello, this is H-Town Wheelhouse with Locked On Astros. We're your team every day. The Houston Astros beat the Rangers for the 9th straight series, 5-3 today. To begin the game, Christian Javier had a 38-pitch first inning where Phil Maton was in the bullpen warming up early in the game. He would settle down, he would record 7 strikeouts, only give up 3 runs, and the Astros would hold on to win 5-3. Multi-hit games by both Christian Vasquez and David Hensley, the young rookie, who had his first 3-hit game of his career. Jose Altuve added a double. Early on was 1 for 4, and they do just enough with 11 hits. They did leave 13 men on base, and that is a concerning trend. Even though they have left so many on base, they are now 18-11 in the month of August going into September. They've got a litany of injuries, and there are rumors swirling about a Michael Conforto. We talk about things in this on the latest Locked On Astros. Remember, we're your team every day.
The San Francisco Giants have been in desperate need of some wins, and lately they just haven't been able to find them. Our Locked On Giants host tells you what went wrong for San Francisco.
The Giants needed to sweep this series against the San Diego Padres to have any kind of legitimate claim to still being in the race. And instead, the Giants are the ones who get swept. Ben Kaspick with the Locked On Giants podcast. The season is over. It's over at this point. 10 and a half games back with 33 games to play. It has been a bad season for the Giants, period. Coming off 107 wins. Very disappointing. Just nobody really living up to expectations. Couple of guys at the front of the rotation, Carlos Rodon and Logan Webb, really strong. Alex Cobb, I think, an intriguing season for him, but otherwise, just it's hard to look at this team and be very excited about anything. There was an article today in ESPN by Kylie McDaniel talking about ranking the cores of all 30 teams and talking about guys under club control beyond 2024, including prospects. And the Giants ranked 28th out of 30, and I think that it's spot on. And he also got feedback from executives around the game. So we're going to break that one down on tomorrow's Locked On Giants and talk about how they can fix it tomorrow, where it's your team every day.
The Cubs managed to take at least one win out of Canada after losing the first 2 games to the Blue Jays in Toronto. Our Locked On Cubs host tells you just how the Northsiders came home with a win.
Cubs beat the Blue Jays, salvaged this third game of the series 7-5. To my surprise, I said a couple of times on our show I thought we were going to get swept. They surprised me tonight. Big night. Franmil Reyes hit a home run. Nico Horner had some big hits. Alfonso Rivas is hitting the baseball well. Zach McKinstry had a good day in the leadoff spot. I thought really the big takeaway from this game, and of course it's hard to get a big long-term takeaway after every game, but a really nice job by the Cubs bullpen after it looked like they were going to blow the game, and when Alejandro Kirk made it 6-5. Really nice job from Rucker, really nice job from Brandon Hughes, and then Rowan Wick came on and shut the door in the 9th inning. So the Cubs get a win. This is a really tough part of their schedule. They've gone St. Louis, Milwaukee, now to Toronto. Then they go back to St. Louis this weekend, so we'll see if they can continue to play spoiler here and see some things that are going to help us for 23. Cubs win 7-5.
The Reds and Cardinals battled for 13 innings before deciding things in Cincinnati. Our Locked On Cardinals host is here to tell you how things turned out between the division rivals.
Well, it was a little more difficult and took a little bit longer than they'd hoped, but the Cardinals finally get it done in extra innings tonight over the Reds. It's JD from Locked On Cardinals, and we got some extra baseball tonight. And after a couple of nice plays at the plate by the Cardinals catchers to prevent the Reds from scoring the winning run, the boys finally broke through in the 13th inning on a sac fly by Albert Pujols, and then got some insurance thanks to a 2-run shot by Lars Nootbaar, and they outlast the Reds 5-3. They take 2 of 3 in the series. Sure, the lack of clutch hitting or just hitting in general was a bit disturbing in this one for the Cardinals, but let's focus on the positives. What an effort from the bullpen. Hicks, Gallegos, Romero, Helsley, all clutch. They combined for 5 1/3 shutout innings, and then Andre Palante, he gives you 3 more innings, allows just one of the ghost runners to score in the final frame to earn the victory. A collective sigh of relief as the Cardinals escape Cincinnati with a series win, and they close out the month of August with a 22-7 record and a 6-game lead over the Brewers in the NL Central. For more Cardinal content, be sure to check out Locked On Cardinals.
Coming up, the Phillies dominate the Diamondbacks and the Mariners keep pace in the wild card race. This is Locked On Game to Game. Listen up, everybody. Built Bar is adding another new flavor to their lineup. This time, it's cookie dough chunk puffs. Cookie dough chunk puffs are only 160 calories and have a whopping 15 grams of protein in them. Like Built Bars, the new cookie dough chunk puffs are covered in 100% real chocolate. That means they're not only healthy, they're also delicious. Chocolate-covered cookie dough with a light, fluffy texture. What's great about Built and all of their bars is that they're made with collagen protein, which your body absorbs more efficiently, and that provides tons of health benefits. Eat something that tastes great and is actually good for you too. There's an exclusive offer right now. Go to built.com and use the promo code LOCKEDON15 to get 15% off your order. Again, that's LOCKEDON15 for 15% off your order at built.com. Welcome back to Locked On Game to Game MLB. I'm Daniella Bruce, and thank you for making Locked On Game to Game your first listen every weekday. Gunnar Henderson might not be a name that you know yet, but he did his best to make sure that you learn it with his Major League debut yesterday and the best performance.
The best performance.
Hold up.
Gunnar Henderson made his debut for the Baltimore Orioles yesterday, and the top prospect had himself a big night in an Orioles win. Locked On Orioles recaps a bright day for the future of the O's.
Gunnar Henderson. Gunnar Henderson. Need I say more? He gets called up to make his major league debut, the number one prospect in baseball, and he goes deep in an Orioles win. Connor Newcomb here, host of Locked On Orioles, as the O's beat the Guardians 4-0 on Wednesday night to even up the series at 1 game apiece. And obviously the star was Gunnar Henderson, making his major league debut, goes 2 for 4 with a monster solo home run in the fourth for his first career hit. Also had a single in the ninth inning, made a couple of nice plays at third base. He was everything as advertised in his first game, and he got a little help. Ramon Urias drove in 3. Jordan Lyles was 6 2/3 scoreless. Orioles continue to play good baseball, and the good vibes come with Gunnar Henderson getting to the big leagues. I'll recap it all coming up on Thursday's episode of the Locked On Orioles podcast.
The Seattle Mariners have hopes for a playoff spot and got a win over the Tigers to keep them above water in the race for the wild card. Locked On Mariners tells us how Seattle beat Detroit.
Despite a rocky start from Marco Gonzalez and another home run or bust effort from the offense, the Mariners were able to avoid disappointment in Detroit and secure a series victory. This is Tiny Gonzalez, host of the Locked On Mariners podcast. The Mariners topped the Tigers by a score of 5-3 on Wednesday night at Comerica Park, thanks in large part to Eugenio Suarez and Abraham Toro, who both go yard for a pair of 2-run home runs. That, however, would be just about it for the Mariners offense. They did add a run of insurance in the top of the ninth, but there were some missed opportunities and some pretty quiet innings against a subpar pitching staff. But 5 runs would be enough to win this game and enough to survive a rough start for Marco Gonzalez, who was particularly painful to watch in the first 2 innings of this game, but he did level things out for the most part and was able to hand the ball off to the Mariners bullpen, which shut the Tigers down despite a shaky 9th inning from Paul Sewell. But the Mariners have their 72nd win of the season and are just one step closer to finally ending the drought. Catch us on the Locked On Mariners postgame show after the game tomorrow on YouTube or wherever you get your podcasts.
The Boston Red Sox kept the Twins from getting any closer in the AL Central lead with a win over Minnesota on Wednesday. Locked On Red Sox goes over the grand slam and strong start that led Boston to a victory.
If only Michael Wacha could pitch for the Red Sox every single night, they'd be in a much better position than they are right now. Hey, it's Lauren from Locked On Red Sox, and the Red Sox did not get swept by the Minnesota Twins on Wednesday night, thanks to a grand slam by Xander Bogaerts, a home run from JD Martinez, and a wonderful performance yet again from Michael Wacha. Now, Michael Wacha has making quite the case to return to Boston next season and maybe even beyond. By the way, he is pitching not just all season, but especially since coming off the IL. For more, I will be breaking down this entire game, the Bogaerts slam, Martinez, everything in between, as well as Jarren Duran's comments about his mental health and everything in between that he has dealt with this season on our next episode of Locked On Red Sox.
An exciting finish in Anaheim gets the Angels a series win over the Yankees. Our Locked On Angels host tells you how it happened.
Hits the go-ahead home run. Patrick Sandoval is amazing, going pitch for pitch with Garrett Cole. My goodness, 7 innings pitched, 7 strikeouts, 2 earned runs. Come on, let's go. I don't care if we don't make the playoffs. Our AL MVP is getting his trophy for the 2nd year in a row. Us Halo fans needed this. We got this. Mike and I are going to talk about it tomorrow on Locked On Angels, so join us on YouTube or wherever you get your podcast. Woo-hoo-hoo! Come on, let's go! Woo-hoo-hoo-hoo! Yes!
The Phillies had absolutely no trouble with the Diamondbacks, pouring 18 runs on Arizona. Locked On Phillies has more on what got into the Philly offense.
Well, turns out the Philadelphia Phillies are still a pretty darn good baseball team. Connor Thomas, your host of Locked On Phillies. And yeah, the Phils they showed up tonight. Now, the past couple nights, it doesn't excuse them for that, but an offensive explosion tonight, double-digit runs, a great start by Bailey Falter, who left with a trainer in the 7th inning. Hopefully he is all right. But yeah, the Philadelphia Phillies are fine. They had a couple rough games in Arizona. They're settled down. Now they're going to head up to San Francisco, and we'll see how they'll take care of business against the Giants over the next couple days. You wish they hadn't dropped those 2 games to start this series, but a good bounce-back performance by your Philadelphia Phillies. And hey, we'll see you in San Francisco. Hopefully they could turn it into more. But don't panic over 2 results. Just let the team keep plugging away. We're still heading towards the playoffs. If you want more information like that, check out Locked On Phillies for more.
On the other side, our Locked On Guardians host tries to figure out why Cleveland couldn't get a run across all night and managed just 5 hits.
Cleveland Guardians lose to the Baltimore Orioles. Let's be honest, this is going to be the Gunnar Henderson game. What a debut for him. That's what it comes down to. Cleveland didn't really do anything to stand out in this one. There's nothing that's going to make you sit back and go, there's a really powerful performance. This is all about Henderson. A fantastic debut for one of the top prospects in baseball. Listen, Cleveland needs to win these games when Tristan McKenzie and Shane Bieber are on the mound. They did not. Hopefully, if you're a scoreboard watching like me, Boston's going to hold on to this and beat the Twins. So this lead can stay, more than half a game. But right now, Cleveland, not as much scuffling as they're facing tough teams. It is hard to win when you're facing tough teams, but that 4-game lead is getting smaller and smaller, and hopefully the Guardians will win this series, as they should, based on the matchups tomorrow in Baltimore. Make sure to check out Locked On Guardians Daily for more in-depth takes on the Cleveland Guardians.
That's all for today on Locked On Game to Game MLB. Thank you again for making Locked On your first listen every weekday. Now that you're done here, make sure your next listens are Locked On MLB and your team's local Locked On podcast. I'm Daniella Bruce, and this has been Locked On Game to Game.